Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation on English for educators within topic reading method. In ELT, we are group 4. Today, we will talk about one of the most popular reading methods called SQ3R. SQ3R stands for Survey, Question, Read, Recite, and Review. It is a method that helps you understand and remember what you read by following 5 steps. We will explain each step in details. Please move to the next slide. Right. Our speakers are Marisa, Sinta, Hanna, Latipa, Raisa, and I, Nisa. Let's begin with Marisa, who will tell us about the definition and target of SQ3R. The time is yours, Marisa.
Okay, thank you to moderator for the opportunity. So here I want to explain about what is SQ3R method. So SQ3R is one method that can be used to teach English language skills, especially in reading skills. Uh, SQ3R was proposed by Francis P. Robinson, a prominent American educational psychologist. So the definition of SQ3R method is a study method developed by Francis P. Robinson with its main steps being survey, question, read, recite, and review. It is used to enhance the learning of reading material. The method involves various cognitive processes, and its effectiveness may vary among students due to individual differences. Robinson is recognized for his contribution to the field of reading and learning, with SQ3R being one of his most well-known contributions. So next, we have a question, who can use this method? So SQ3R method can use for students at different educational levels, from middle school to college, and even in specific contexts like vocational schools. The method appears to have a positive impact on students' reading skills and comprehension across setting. Here, we found some articles that provide this method can improve the student comprehension ability. There are at 8th grade student of Salaputri to Junior High School, at State Islamic Institute in Palu, and at Vocational School in Purwakarta. I think that's all from me. I give it back to moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Marisa, for your clear explanation of what SQ3R is and who can benefit from using it. Now let's move on to Sinta, who will tell us about the principles behind SQ3R and how they relate to the information processing theory of learning. Sinta, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the moderator for the opportunity. Now I will explain the principles of this method. There are 5 principles. The first is why survey. 1, it gives you the big picture. 2, it decide what's important. 3, you can connect information to what you already know. And the 4th is the prepares you to read. And the second principle is why question. It helps you to stay focused on the reading. 2, it gives you a purpose looking for the answer and creates interest. The 3, it's good practice for quizzing yourself on the topics. Next, please. The third principle is why read. 1, it's how to get the information from the textbooks. 2, it's good preparation for your lecture and discussion. And the third is an essential part of test preparation. The fourth principle is why recite. 1, it's help you retain information after you read it. 2, it's check for your level of understanding. 3, it's a way to interact with the reading and stay awake. And the last principle is why review. 1, it's help you retain information from week to week. And 2, it's help you prepare for exam papers and assignment. That's all from me. I give it back to moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Sinta, for your information presentation of the principles behind SQ3R and how they help us to encode, store, and retrieve information more effectively. Next, we have Latipa, who will tell us how to apply SQ3R in practice by describing each step and giving examples of what to do and what not to do. Latipa, the time is yours.
All right, thank you, Nisa. I will continue the presentation with explaining procedure of this method. The first one is survey. This step involves a brief review of the assigned text to gain an initial understanding by focusing on the most obvious elements such as headings, bold text, and charts. So, in this step, you may start by quickly scanning the material, and then the next question. Readers are encouraged to ask questions about the content of the text based on their initial preview. Yes, after scanning the material, you may find headings or like a title. For example, phonetic and phonology, and then you write down the question about, for example, what is phonetic and then what is phonology. And then next is reading, the R1 reading. During actual reading of the text, readers actively engage with the material using questions generated in previous steps to guide their reading and focus their attention. In this step, you may try to answer the question you have write down before, and then you also must have to paying attention to the details. Next, the R2 is recite. As readers continue reading the text, they recite or rehearse the answer to their initial questions in their own words. In these steps, you may try to recite the key points and answer the question from memory, and then you also have to reflect on how the text relate to your questions. And then the R3 review. After finishing reading, readers review the content of the text by summarizing the main ideas in their own words, strengthening their understanding of the material. Yes, in this step, you have to summarize what you have read from step 1 to step 4, and then you summarized with your own words. I think that's all from me. I give it back to moderator.
Thank you, Latifa, for your practical demonstration of how to use SQ3R in our reading. Now let's hear about the advantages of SQ3R used that will be presented by me. Here we have survey, question, read, recite, and review. The first one is survey or investigate. Students preview the material readings, and the second is question. 2, encourage students to ask questions about content, enhancing their active engagement with the materials. And the third is read. Read the reading that was already in the reader's mind. By reading, the reader becomes more familiar with the materials. The fourth is recite. Here is retelling in reading activities is the way to further improve students' memory and understanding. Fifth is review. The practice of repeating reading materials benefit to consolidating learning and achieving better academic. So that's all for me of the advantages using this method. The next will be presented by Raisa. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you to the moderator for the opportunity. Here I will explain this advantage of using this method. So, according to terms S 2023, The weaknesses of the SQ3R learning method are: the first, this strategy cannot be applied to all physics subjects because remembering physics material that is not always easily understood by reading alone, but also the need for practicum. The second, the teacher will be in preparing reading books for students have reading books. Next, students must artificially repeat the SQ3R process until it becomes automatic. Next, the method is time-intensive as it requires you to dedicate enough time to comprehend each chapter and analyze all headings. Next, the SQ3R method can be difficult to learn and apply, and SQ3R lacks steps that aid the cognitive processes of organization and integration. And the last one, the method is not well suited for online classes and other types of learning material besides textbook. Next, please. Next slide. Okay, before utilizing this method in the classroom, the teacher needs to prepare various elements. Next. Okay, first, students will more effectively adopt SQ3R reading techniques with formal instruction rather than trying to learn the process on their own. An educator can introduce the entire SQ3R process in a hands-on workshop during a single class meeting. However, students require weeks of practice to tailor the steps to their abilities and needs. The apparent simplicity of SQ3R is somewhat deceptive because the purposeful and steps actually provides the greatest benefits. So that's all for me. I'll give it back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Raisa, for your presentation of disadvantages and preparation of SQ3R and how we can deal with them. Finally, we have Hanna, who will tell us about a classroom activity that we can do to practice SQ3R with our classmates. So Hanna, the time is yours.
All right, thank you, moderator, for the opportunity. For the last explanation, I will give an example of class activity that can teacher do with this method. Next. In warm-up activity, teacher can lead students in a survey of a reading selection and build a question for each heading and subheading in the text selection. And what should teacher do in core activity? First, ask students to read the selection carefully, keeping the question in mind as they read. Have students recite the answer to the question by verbalizing them in a group discussion or writing them down. And for the last activity, there is warm down. The teacher can repeat this process for all of the question and have students review all of their spoke or written answer. That's all from me. I'll give it back to the moderator.
Thank you, Hanna, for your presentation of a classroom activity that we can do to practice SQ3R with our classmates. That concludes our presentation on reading methods in ELT. We hope that you have learned something new and useful from our presentation. We would like to thank you all for your attention and participation. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to ask us now or later. Thank you very much. Here at the end of our presentation.